introduce you today to our special guest, Amy Hill. Amy is a domestic and hi Amy, how are you? I'm glad to see you on the screen. Amy is a domestic violence survival mentor, sharing her experiences with other survivors so that they can relate. She runs many programs, one of which is a healing program, and then also a coaching and mentor program. She's been in the industry for more than, wow, how many years now?
Over 10.
Over 10 years. I love it. And Amy, welcome to the virtual stage. So, Amy, you are running 2 programs at the moment, and you've also written a book. It's been very busy. And yes, our listeners really love to connect with you and your personal story. So, if you're okay, if you could just share some of the story, just so that we can, we can get on the same page as you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So my domestic violence journey started, over 10 years ago. I met my ex-husband, and he quickly moved into my house with my 6-year-old son. And things just went downhill after that. It was a place where he was able to isolate me, moved interstate, and that's where everything kind of unraveled when I became isolated. So there was physical abuse, financial abuse, emotional, verbal, psychological abuse. He was also later diagnosed as narcissistic personality disorder, and he also struggled with alcoholism. So I had an array of experiences. After I escaped and separated from him, the abuse continued for another 5 years afterwards. So just when I thought, hooray, I'm finally out, it certainly wasn't the end. So after I managed to get myself through, what am I up to now? 6.5 years in court, hopefully finish soon. I just wanted to be able to share my experience with people after having invested a lot in myself in terms of healing and self-development and growth. I just thought, well, I've gone through so much and invested in a lot in myself. So it had worked wonders for me to be able to essentially get to the other side where I can come from a calm place and help people. So that's where I'm at the moment, sharing my journey and helping others.
Oh, that is so beautiful. And, we learn best from stories, and it gives us an opportunity to be able to relate to different aspects of yours. And we connect through that level of vulnerability. So thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing that with us today. I'd love to know a little bit more about your book. Is it your story and tools to thrive? Like what's in the book, Walking on Eggshells?
Yeah, so it's mainly based around my experience. So from when we met to the whole way through up until I left. And the book is aimed at not only sharing my story and my experience, but also giving the perspective to people on what was actually involved in those different types of abuse. So I really wanted to make it clear for people who, the book is aimed at other survivors, but also for people who are perhaps family or friends of people who have been or are going through someone who's experiencing domestic violence. So I want to help raise awareness and understanding, like, what exactly is emotional abuse? And not only what is it, but how does it happen? And what does it look like? So I've tried to give some in-depth examples and insights into what I went through and how these situations came about, looking at it through my eyes. so as the survivor. So I really wanted to share that with people as well as my story. So two aspects going on there.
So it's that beautiful vulnerability of your story, and also an educational piece so that people have a better understanding. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's right. And at the end of each chapter, then there's also a reflection piece. So coming from where I am now and considering different aspects, because of course, I never knew what I was experiencing was domestic violence. I wasn't, my eyes weren't open to this until my psychologist told me when I was 5.5 years into the relationship and then marriage. She said, like, this is domestic violence. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, are you sure? Because he's not exactly like, what I would describe, like, because I always thought there's people who are worse off than me, right? And a lot of people think that. So, yeah, I like to provide that reflection piece. Like, if I had known what I knew now, if I had the awareness and if I knew the tools that I had now, so adding that piece into it as well.
Oh, thank you, Amy, for the gift of your book, Walking on Eggshells. And then that's obviously led you to the next level, which was putting together your program for healing. So for girls who are still in process or girls that are just freshly out of process, can you tell us a little bit more about your healing process and how that works, and how do the people get connected with you if this is something, and it might not be them, it might be their daughters. I get the chance to speak to a lot of women as a survivor myself, who it's their daughters they want to help, and they're looking for ways to get them involved, to get them to move forward. So how can people get involved in your healing? We're calling it a program, is that what it is?
Yes. Yeah. So I've created this program based on my own experience on how I was able to progress and move forward with my healing. So it's a variety of integrated guided therapies. So some specific tools that I've pulled together and made into a program where during the week there's a 1 hour session where they're able to dive deep into this work and really create a shift in their inner child. So leading on from that, during the week, they also get a weekly task, which is aimed at really building up their self-worth. So while we're dealing with like the harder sort of stuff during the week in the session, then we're also building up their self-worth at the same time. And that's on a daily basis throughout the week. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. It sounds so nurturing, Amy. It really does. And then when the girls are further down the track and they feel that, the healing is well and truly on the way and they're ready to step into their own power, you offer another program for them, which is the next level. Can you tell us a little bit more about that one?
Yeah, so this is the Mindset and Empowerment Program. So it's a direct next step after the healing program. The healing program really creates that foundation, so you're ready to take that next step into really being yourself and stepping into yourself and taking ownership. So I find that the healing program really gives you that inner peace and working on that self-love, whereas the mindset and empowerment program builds on with that. So it creates that purposeful life, which drives your direction. So you know where you're going, because quite often you kind of feel a bit sort of lost, not only lost with the connection with yourself and perhaps other people, but just lost generally in life. So this helps create that direction and gives you that purpose. And it also helps you to remain present in yourself. So again, that self-connection and really having that deep self-understanding.
Yes, I like that. So So how are these courses, how are these programs delivered? Do they go to a location or is it done online?
Yeah, so the great thing about these programs is that they're all facilitated through Zoom. So the majority of my clients are actually overseas, which is fantastic. So I love the fact that I'm able to help people across the globe, and it has been quite an easy transition doing everything online. So I've found that that to be really helpful and a great way to connect with people as well.
Ah, I love it. That makes so much sense. So these two programs are available. Can you tell me a little bit more about like how long they last for, the programs? Like are they, yeah, like how many hours they are or how many sessions they are?
Sure. So the sessions are weekly. Likewise with the mindset and empowerment program. So the healing program goes for 4 months, and then the mindset and empowerment program is another 4 months. So the session structure is the same for the mindset and empowerment program, where it's very structured and there's one sort of technique per session. And then during the mindset and empowerment program, while the weekly tasks are still based around self-worth, it is really having that deep dive into that self-connection. So really finding, like discovering that inner peace and that inner self-connection. So it's a lot of deep work, but it's very fulfilling.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so do people always walk in and do the healing program and then move on, or can people just go straight to the mindset? Say they're sort of a little bit further down the track. Do they have to do them together, or can they do them separately?
Yeah, look, the majority of people do go into the healing program and then progress into the mindset and empowerment program. However, there have been a few cases where I've been able to establish that people are able to progress straight into the mindset and empowerment program. This is why it's key to have a discovery call with myself, so I'm able to assess where people are at. Um, the healing techniques are incredibly unique. So I do love to encourage people to go through the whole program. However, it is a tailored process. So booking and discovering a discovery call with me is the ideal way to see what's best for them.
I love that. So Rose has popped that in the chat, and it's also in the event details as well, to book that conversation, that discovery call, to see, are you a good fit for the program, and if so, which one? And getting to know Amy a little bit more and seeing how you can work together so that you can get your best outcome. I love it, Amy. And okay, I understand too that you're speaking now as well on the subject of domestic violence. And how are you finding that journey?
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you. I think it's just building on my experience, what I've been through, and my purpose with this business and with my own self is just to be able to raise the awareness of domestic violence, help raise not only the awareness but also the education aspect as well. So really helping people to understand the different aspects of domestic violence. So being able to speak about it is a really important aspect to me.
I love it, and you speak so well too. I just say, Amy. So, Amy, our listeners really love some tangible tools that they can use, in real time, that they can implement for themselves. Is there something that you could share with us today that would be relevant for our listeners to learn?
Sure. So for me, I found some active things to really break away from the current sort of hectic world of today, and being able to step back and take some time for yourself in some sort of mindfulness activity. So the ones that worked really well for me were meditation and yoga. So
Mm.
I absolutely love them. I practice yoga 5 times a week and meditate every morning. So I still have them part of my nearly everyday practice. So I would definitely encourage that. That also enhances that self-connection as well. However, a tool that I find very helpful that anyone can do is, of course, journaling. So I find that although it can be a bit difficult to kind of get started if you're not used to it, so I do actually have a handout on how to journal. So I've got some journaling prompts, and this is part of the program. So I do take you through that. So I did find when I was actually going through, well, after I had been told I was in a domestic violence situation, that's when I started my journaling. So I found that that really helped understand what was going on for me. So I found that very helpful, and I still journal every day now.
I am a lover of journaling, and yeah, I understand. Sometimes in the early days, it was like, what do I write? Like, where do
Yeah,
I start?
yeah,
And so, yeah, just simply putting that pen to paper and just not even thinking about what you're writing, just writing, and then
yeah.
eventually it sort of comes to pass. And
Mm.
then, like anything, it's a habit, and once you do it for a little while, it just comes naturally. And if you miss it on a day, then you really feel it. So
Yeah.
it becomes part of the things that you do.
Yeah, it's just like going to the gym, like you're building up that muscle, that routine, that habit.
Mm.
And yeah, if you do miss it for a day, you do notice it. So
And I love your ideas here of, starting with your meditation. So starting low, staying high with meditation, and also the yoga. And the great thing that COVID's brought to us is that everything's online now, so that you don't need to go to a yoga studio unless you want that level of connection with humans. You can just do yoga on your yoga mat at home. It's that simple.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not complicated anymore. So
Mm,
it's just about having that level of discipline and putting yourself first. And
yeah.
as a survivor myself, I know that one of the things I didn't do is I didn't put myself first. I put him first and everyone else first. And
Mm,
doing those things, journaling,
yeah.
doing the meditation and doing the yoga are signs of, filling up your own bucket. That makes all
Mm,
of the difference. I love it, Amy. I love it. So
yeah.
what's next for you, Amy, in your mission to raise awareness on this planet about domestic violence?
Yeah, so for me, I am just taking every speaking opportunity that I can, and I'm actually creating a new group program and a new online course. So the course will likely come out in the new year, and the group program later this year. So I've got some exciting things that I'm working on at the moment. And yeah, I'm really excited to be able to launch these soon.
Oh, a little birdie tells me that you're looking at expanding, and the girls that are coming through your programs are now looking to become next level coaches themselves and use these modalities to help pay it forward. So, a little birdie told me that you're starting an academy soon, and you're in the process of that. And how exciting for you to make such an impact on this world by sharing your story and your learnings, and then have teach others who have gone through the process so that they can actually, hold the torch and make a difference and move forward. Like, wow, Amy, that's just that's bigger than Ben-Hur.
Yeah, thank you. It's so rewarding to see people going through the programs and actually, want to help other people like I have. So it's great to be able to have that wider reach, that bigger impact, and help as many people as we can.
I love it. So, if anything Amy has said, which is everything to me, has really touched you from her story all the way through to the different programs that she offers, do yourself a favor. Jump on to a discovery call with Amy and see, are you guys a good fit to work together in one of the programs, either the healing program or the next level, which is the mindset program. And yeah, know that there is a community of healers that are working together for the next level, which is the mentoring program. And these girls will be paying it forward to shift awareness and educate people what really DV is. Because if we can shine a light into this darkness, we can make it disappear. But it's all about having the educational piece. And when people like Amy, she didn't know that she was in a domestic violence situation. She just thought that's how it was. When we can help other women see that that's not okay and that they can empower themselves to move forward, it makes all the difference. Did you have any final words to say, Amy, before we jump back with Rose?
Yeah, thank you. I just appreciate you and Rose, assisting for me to be able to actually come on here and share more of my story and let people know what I'm offering so I can help people. It's really about raising that awareness and getting it out there and just being able to help people actually experience freedom.
Absolutely. I love it. Experience freedom. Thank you, Amy Hill. It's a privilege and a pleasure to have you back on the program, which is fantastic. And we're looking forward to the launch of your new program. So maybe you'll jump on sometime next year and have a conversation with us about the launch of those. Thank you so much, Amy. We're going back with Rose jumping onto the screen now. And we just want to, hi, Rose, look, you are there. You're not just a voice in the background. And tell us about the plans for Tasmania with, tell us about the plans for Tasmania. Rose, I can't hear you. I can hear you now,
Rose. Little technical glitches again, just not paying attention. Yes, in Tasmania, I am in the process of organising a men's retreat here in Tasmania, which will be held sometime next year, probably in June. I'm just organising with a few other of my male counterparts to get some accommodation and sort out the program that would be most beneficial to men who have been through domestic and family violence or sexual abuse for that matter. So there'll be a safe place for them to share their stories with others and know that they're not alone in the world.
Oh, I love it. That's very healing through love. And back here in Adelaide, we are planning our next Healing Through Love Pamper Day. Early days, still in process. Everything's sort of waiting for what's happening with COVID, and that's okay. But if you are a survivor yourself, and you're in a space where you can pay it forward, either by physically offering hand massages, or if you use a service or a modality that you do that's like, I don't know, Reiki or healing or hairdressing or makeup or anything else in between, that's a pampering service, we would love to hear from you. And what's the email address?
It's hello@htlaustralia.org.
Thanks, Rose. She knows all the answers. And also, probably most important and closer to home is what we're doing around Christmas. So at the moment, we are collecting personal care products and putting them into bags, beautiful bags, and getting them to the Zara Foundation, which they're in the forefront. They're like the first port of call once a girl has managed to get herself out of the situation and moving them into some safe accommodation. So we're putting together, again, like we did last year, some gift bags. And so if you've got any goodies that are new and in good order, please reach out to us either through the email and we'll coordinate picking them up, or we'll take care of the details. You just let us know that you've got them and we'll get them to the right place. We're putting them together in bags and delivering them closer to Christmas. We've had some technical glitches today, some little gremlins, and that's okay. It just makes it so much more interesting. As always, it's a privilege and pleasure to share with you here in the domestic violence and family violence and just shift that level of awareness. And let's lift back the covers and make a difference. As a community, we can we raise that level of education, we can make a difference, and everyone will know, and we can help the survivors move forward with power and passion so that they can live a full life. Thank you so much for joining us today with Healing Through Love. Rose has just popped off. You can't be very far behind. It's lovely to see you here again. Same time, same channel, on Tuesday for lunchtime, a half an hour with Healing Through Love. Thank you for joining us. Bye for now.